is going on, bosses? It's your girl Andrea, and you are in for another episode of Be the Brand TV. This is the place for think ups, startups, and scale ups, not only to learn about personal branding, but also to have a fun time with me and my family and some of the shenanigans that happen. And today I kind of wanted to throw in a little bit of the personal and talk about a good start to your day, or a good morning routine and a good evening routine. I know that COVID-19 has really thrown us off balance, and some of us are struggling with creating a really good schedule for ourselves. And so I thought I would share some tips that I have for how to create a great morning routine and a great evening routine. So if that is something that you are having trouble with and want to learn about how I'm doing, make sure you stick around. Now, also trying to get better about doing IG stories and my IG TVs. And so I want you to join me over on IG, and that is AF Patrick. I will put that right here. There you go. So make sure that you follow me over on Instagram, and let's have those conversations and really dive in there so I can share a little bit more about how I can help you do some of the things that I'm doing in my business to grow. Now, I want to sort of just remind you, before I forget, before we get started, don't forget to stick around until the end. I have an announcement that I want to make. And of course, at the end, it makes you one of our E.O.V members. And that is our end of video members. And that is a place to be, to hear about all the new things coming up, some of the great discounts that I'm going to be doing. And I ask you some questions to sort of help me with providing you with the right content. So make sure you stick around until the end of this video. To Be the Brand TV. All right, so I want to go ahead and get started so that we can find out about my little, I'm in my bedroom, guys, at my desk, but not my home office, but just my desk. Anyway, that was irrelevant. So let's face it, we should just resign ourselves that we might be stuck, sheltered in place for some time, especially if we are business owners, because a lot of that networking stuff that we used to do is not happening unless you're one of those who just doesn't believe that this thing is real and you're still out there doing your thing. Hey, more power to you. God bless. Stay safe. I am sheltered in place, and I am doing Zoom meetings, and I'm hanging with my homies online. So, but suffice it to say, things may not be going back to normal for some time. And because of that, we might be struggling with our productivity. And I know for me, I have to have systems and processes in place to make sure that I am getting things done. I really do need to feel productive in my day. And so I want to share with you a few things that I am doing right now in my business to sort of stay on top of things. These are habits that I have formed over the years and are now really, really working for me, especially since I was recently not feeling well and was in some pretty severe pain, but I was still able to knock out my client work and keep everyone on target for their goals, and should have been in the hospital. So I'm not advising that to anybody. Making sure you get into the doctor's office when you're supposed to. But because I did these few things, that is how I was able to maintain. So I want to share. Number one is just to plan and allocate. Now here, guys, my husband has said this for years. Now, it did not apply to business. It applied to things like redesigning a living room or buying a new car. But his favorite phrase for years was plan and allocate. It really got on my nerves. Funny how I'm using it in my business. But it is a great idea for how you start rethinking about your productivity in your business while you're at home, because it really is important for you to plan out what it is you need and then allocate the time and tools you need to make sure you get it done. That's how you're able to be productive. For me, I always know what each of my client needs. I know what I need to have done. And so I plan not only what I'm going to do, but I plan a time to do it. So I allocate the time and I allocate the tools that I'm going to need to help me get those goals met for the business. So things like my Google Calendar I use. Now, a lot of people have different methods of how they manage their time, but I use a combination of my Google Calendar and my Happy Planner to make sure that I'm getting things done. So then next is we create a process. So once we have planned and allocated what we need to do, we've planned what we need to do, we've allocated the time to do it. Now it's time to create a process that is going to work for you. Now, I mentioned that I use Google Calendar and I use my Happy Planner. Okay, so you want to use that. Your scheduling is your process, number one, and then your planning. And this is where you're going to take notes and you're going to write down your ideas. Now, the tool I use for that is Asana. Absolutely love Asana. Now, in Asana, it is an app. It's desktop and a mobile app. So it goes with you wherever you go. So whenever I have an amazing idea for a podcast or an amazing idea for a video, I can just immediately jot it down in Asana. And that is the planning part of the process. And that is where like I said, I'm taking notes. I am jotting down ideas. I'm strategizing. I'm thinking about things. If I've done any type of research, that's where I save links and things like that to go back and review. Now, the next part of this creating a process is to actually do some processing. And the manner in which you implement your plan in a timely manner is the way you're going to process it. So for this idea of creating the process, number one, you want to schedule, which is where your calendars come in. Then you want to plan, which is where a project management tool or just an open or a running Google Doc that you can jot things down in. That's where that happens because you're taking notes, you're gathering information, you're jotting down ideas, doing research, things of that nature. And then you also want to have a process. You want to do the processing of that calendar block, that thing you have to do, and then the note taking you want to process to actually create things like your content or your course or your coaching program or time to develop for these things. That is kind of that's what you're going to do in terms of creating a process. Okay. And then next is have a routine. Now, I mentioned that I use my Google Calendar and my Happy Planner to get things done. Part of my routine is I calendar block in my Google Calendar. So for my business, I do have an opportunity for potential clients to have a discovery call with me. And so they can go to my website, andreapatrick.com/discovery-call. And they can book time to have a 30-minute conversation with me about what it is they need in their business, what they're struggling with, and we can decide on whether or not I will help them or if I'm just going to make a few suggestions during the call. Now, when that happens, though, in order for my potential clients or those looking for discovery calls to have the appropriate time so that they don't interfere with other things I have going on, I block my calendar off. So not only am I allowing them to book around my schedule, but I'm also able to have a schedule. So this is how we form the routine. You have to make sure that you are doing things in a manner that helps you be more productive, if that makes sense. So for me, when I talk about having a routine, I'm talking about, and I have my notes off here, I'm talking about determine what you need to get off to a good start for your day. Again, for me, it's knowing the time allocated for what I need to do. And then it's also about making sure that I know what is going to be done in that time slot. So that's where my Happy Planner comes in. I write all my details down in my Happy Planner because I'm one of those people that needs to see it and then I need to write it in order for it to stick in this thing up here. So for my routine is I block my calendar off so I know between this time and this time, this is my AM work schedule. But on my calendar, on my Happy Planner, I make sure that I put in detail what needs to be done in that time period. So I set myself up for success, and I do that the night before. So that is part of the routine as well. So I will sit down before I go to bed or before I close up my computer for the day and jot down what needs to be done the next day within that time slot so that I am already ready and prepared for what my day is going to look like. And that allows me to have another part of my routine, which is actually just sitting first thing in the morning. Now I talk to my best friend every morning, and we have coffee time together, and we just sort of chat. And it's sort of an ease into my day. I usually speak to my mom first thing in the morning before I get started, so that when I sit down to work, I know I'm sitting down to work and I am going to be able to get some things accomplished. And then what I do is I create a template that helps me maintain consistency. And that is what I just described. So it's a routine, but it's also a template. So I know exactly when I should say the template comes in when I'm actually doing the work, because I have a way, a methodology for how I actually work with my client stuff, when I schedule things, how I schedule things. And some of the tools that I use for that are Google Drive, because I really love that system with docs and slides and forms. So for my coaching clients, I have some, and we work strictly online. So if you're someone who's struggling with marketing and really developing a personal brand, but you have a limited budget, that particular coaching program works very well. But I use tools like Google Drive to help facilitate that program so that people can get the benefit from it. All right, guys, that does it for this week's video. I hope you stayed to the end and became a member of our E.O.V club, End of Video Club. I mentioned to you that I am going to have an announcement to share with you at the beginning, and that is we are going to be, prayerfully, fingers crossed, we are going to be opening up the Marketing Matrix in August. Now, the Marketing Matrix is my course where I am teaching you how to not only create and develop a personal brand for yourself, but then how to use that personal brand and across platforms and grow your business exponentially, increase your engagement, increase your conversions, all while being authentically you. We often hear about, oh, you should just be yourself, but a lot of us don't know how to do that when it comes to business, especially online. And so the Marketing Matrix is really taking you through all the steps. People who have taken this course are absolutely loving it. Great things are being said about it. And at the end of this course, you will be able to implement the tools that I give you to create now amazing campaigns for your business that you know are going to get the word out, get understanding about who you are and how you really do want to help your customer base. And you can do it by relating to your audience. And this is going to be a great tool for you to move forward, especially if you are a startup and you're not quite sure how to even get started. This is a great course. And then also, if you are a scale up who has been doing business a certain way all of this time and you're not quite sure how to engage and connect with the audience because of a pivot or because of a scale up, this course is for you. I have had both types of people inside this class, and I think that you will enjoy it. The webinar is going to be coming up to give you a brief overview of everything that's going to be inside the course. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll put a link below so that you can be notified when the webinar is going to be happening and when the course is going to be up live. So I told you, if you stay to the end, you get great, great, great news. Now, that's a lot. Aren't you glad you stayed until the end and became a member of the E.O.V Club? I am. Also, guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you go ahead and do that right now. Subscribe. And don't forget, fun things are going to be happening over on my IG channel. So make sure you follow me there at AF Patrick. Thanks again for watching. I am so happy you have been with me today on Be The Brand TV. I'll see you next week. Okay, guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, and grab the information that I'm sharing with you below, because my job here on Be The Brand is to help you live your value, love yourself enough to be yourself, and lead with intention and purpose. Until next time.